Boom! What's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be talking about C3 AI Inc., why this company could potentially be acquired and or bought out by a mega cap tech company, and of course, how high the stock could potentially climb if this is to be the case. But even if it isn't, this is entirely speculative. I'm still incredibly bullish on the stock. I do still think this stock has further room to run over the course of the summer of 2023. And I want to jump into the charts and talk to you guys about where I think this is going, or more so, rationalize this little price target you can see in front of us. Okay, so we'll save that for later. We'll kick off the video by, of course, reading over this article from CNBC Pro. Only a few short paragraphs here. I do want to reference this article from all the way back in December of 2020 from Barron's, discussing what happened to C3 right after their IPO, been public for almost 3 years now. So I want to talk about this and really reference it just to show you guys what's possible when there is a lot of excitement involved around a stock. And, maybe this can give us some insight as to what the shares could do or the share price will do in the case that an acquisition is in the cards. Okay. On top of that, I do also want to discuss Elon's company, xAI. The only reason for this is pretty much to talk about how the hype waves are still alive. Okay. The hype cycle is something that we've been discussing, and really what turned me onto the stock initially and what had me share it with you guys all the way back in December of 2022. The hype is here, you guys, and the hype momentum is still building, okay? I know we've been covering C3 for a long time now, or what feels like a long time at least, and it feels like it's too late, okay? At least in my opinion, this is all my opinion, of course, I don't believe it's too late. I do still believe more waves are coming. And again, I really just want to talk about how, the AI, the artificial intelligence movement is still in its early stages, although it does, once again, it seems like we've been here for a while. It's still early, okay? Just remember, we're still early, all right? I then want to talk, and really this plays into the short-term price action we'll be discussing on the charts and just kind of reinforcing our bullish shorter-term sentiment. I want to talk about the most shorted stocks. I was actually just, it's Saturday morning as I'm recording this. Usually just scroll through CNBC. Nice way to kick off the morning. Stumbled upon this. So the most shorted stocks vulnerable to a squeeze in this rallying market. Who could have guessed it? AI is one of them. And I want to talk about, the short float, which is the percentage of the overall float of shares that is being shorted, which of course makes a stock susceptible to a short squeeze. Okay? When the stock pops, a short squeeze is where those who are shorting the stock have to cover their asses by buying stocks. And that, of course, leads into that flywheel effect, or I guess uphill snowball effect of the stock just absolutely ripping. That is a short squeeze. Okay, so we'll discuss that. And then at the very end of the video, I do want to talk about a little content recommendation from the boys of the All In podcast. And a quote that I really, really love from this podcast. And I want to elaborate on this quote because this really sums up a lot of my macro thesis on the markets right now and why I'm so bullish on not just the stock, on not just AI, but so many of the stocks that, we know and love over Waves Capital, Riot, Unity, AI, Applied Digital, Matterport. So many stocks that I'm excited about that I'm currently trading. And, I hope you guys are as well. And on the note of trading, if you guys do want to trade AI and all the names I just covered on this watch list, plus many, many more that I'm actively trading on a daily basis, then that's going to be the first link in the description. Waves Capital. Drop a comment if you guys are riding the waves with me. It's been an amazing month so far, so I would appreciate it if you guys shared your experience at Waves Cap. If you want to join, again, it's the first link in the description of this video. My complete portfolio and daily newsletter. This is exactly as it states. It's a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio. Every call option I have, every put option I have, every stock, common share position, every cryptocurrency position, which I update every single trading day during market hours. And then along with every update, I of course send out these email newsletters that we'll be discussing here. every day as well. Okay. And this is the second letter of every day. I send out 2 newsletters. I send out the Trade Alert newsletter, which is like a macro analysis and discusses my trades, rationalizes my actions within my portfolio, and then the price targets where we cover, names like this, all the names we just discussed every single day. Okay. So if you guys want that, if you guys want to ride the waves with me, if you guys want to join Waves Capital for real, once again, that's the first link in the description. Welcome to the winning team if you do. But if not, no worries at all. I appreciate you watching this video. Longtime tech investor Paul Meeks said artificial intelligence pure play, C3 AI. This is Paul Meeks. At least I'm assuming. Yeah, right there. C3 AI could be a potential winner as the firm might be an acquisition target for mega cap tech companies. Quote, one pure play AI company, C3 AI, probably at some point successfully sells itself to one of the mega cap tech companies, Meeks said on CNBC Pro Talks on Wednesday. The portfolio manager at Independent Solutions Wealth Management said his prediction stems from the CEO Thomas Siebel's track record. Siebel sold his prior software company, Siebel Systems, to Oracle for nearly $6 billion in 2006. 3 years later, he started C3 AI, a provider of AI solutions to businesses. Because that company is being run by Tom Siebel, who at one time in his career worked at Oracle, left Oracle, created a company, sold it back to Oracle, and became a billionaire. So he's done it before, Meeks said. And again, you guys, you've done it once, you can do it before. History does not repeat itself, but it does tend to rhyme a little bit. Once again, this does not by any means guarantee or confirm the fact that C3 AI can be acquired. But I 100% agree with Mr. Meeks here, and I do think that C3 AI is a primary target for acquisition. And honestly, if I was a mega cap tech company who didn't have exposure to AI yet, which there's a lot of them out there, or a meaningful exposure to AI, I should say, not just throwing AI somewhere, throwing a few $1 million into their AI program. If they want meaningful exposure to AI, C3 is an amazing candidate for that. And I do think it's entirely possible that they do that. Okay, so how high can the stock climb if it is acquired? Okay, if they are bought out, that answer is completely dependent upon how much they're bought out for. Okay, so when an acquisition happens, there is a price tag put on the company being acquired. Okay, so let's take a quick look here. And I do want to scroll here because here we can see the market cap and the total floats of C3 AI. Okay, so C3 AI currently sits at a market cap of $4 billion. Share price is $37, and the shares floating are 93 million, just under 94 million. Okay, so a market cap is determined by the total number of shares times the share price. Okay, that's how you determine the market cap of $4.174 billion right now. The price of the stock, once again, is going to be completely dependent upon what a company buys them out for. So, going to do some heavy back of the hand math. Please roast me in the comments if I'm just way off on this. If C3 AI is bought for, let's just say, the same price as Siebel sold his old company for. And by the way, $6 billion in 2006 is like way more than twice that nowadays. So that's pretty damn impressive. If they sell it for $6 billion, let's say they get a $6 billion acquisition, that would be about 50% of the total market cap. Therefore, you would multiply the stock by about 50%, leading to, $75, $80 share price. So if they get acquired for $6 billion, that would result in a $75 to $80 share price. If they get acquired for $10 billion, that would be just over 2x the current share price. Or if they get acquired for $10 billion, I was reciting this in my head before, so I just scuffed it. If they get acquired for $10 billion, that would be about $75 to $80, like an $80 share price, right? If they get acquired for $6 billion, here we go, scuff that. If they get acquired for $6 billion, 50% of 37, you're looking at like 18, 19. So just add 18 or 19 bucks to the share price now, and that is the target of a $6 billion acquisition. Okay, so again, you guys, the share price upon acquisition or announcement of acquisition is completely dependent upon what the price tag of C3 AI is determined to be. Okay, so just keep that in mind, you guys. That's pretty much all I have to say there. Again, we'll discuss this and save the short-term price action for the end of the video. But I do want to reference this because this is cool. We never discussed C3 AI Inc. on the channel, at least prior to December of 2022. So it's cool to, blast the past and check out what happened back in the day. Back in the day. 2020, December of 2020 feels like a lifetime ago, right? This is like not quite peak COVID, but, just getting out of peak COVID. Crazy times. And also market mania. So they timed it well. The artificial intelligence software company C3 priced its initial public offering, IPO, at $42 a share, above the recently increased range of $36 to $38. That wasn't high enough. C3 AI shares opened for trading at $100 on Wednesday morning and were up to $109 shortly after that for a gain of 160% from the IPO price. So I want to make this very clear. This was, again, not peak mania, but definitely getting pretty close to peak mania within risk assets or growth stocks within the equity markets. They timed this perfectly. This is like they couldn't have gone public at a better time, to be honest. Of course, pretty much every growth stock and risk asset tanked in 2022. But again, you guys, this is what can happen to the stock. The stock can climb this high. Keep in mind, again, this is stimmy checks. This is unemployment checks. This is free cash. This is zero interest rates. This is pretty much the perfect storm. This is everyone sitting at home trading on Robinhood. The retail media, this is the perfect storm for a stock to climb. But I do think this can happen again. I do still think another wave up is coming. We were talking about the second wave. I've been juked out. I've been head faked on the second wave for the past few months now. Again, the macroeconomic backdrop is different. Interest rates are high. Investors are still hesitant. But this quote that I want to reference at the end, just referencing, just talking about all the capital on the sidelines and in defensive assets that wants to flood back into the markets, makes me so bullish on the stock, makes me pretty damn confident in the fact that along with what we're going to discuss here with XAI and just just how AI continues to be the talk of the streets, I'm extremely confident that another wave up is coming. And again, we'll discuss short-term price action right after this. So again, that's a little blast of the past. C3 AI is possible of breaking well into the triple digits. I think the high was like $1.90 or $200 at one point. Peak market mania for AI stocks. So keep that in mind, you guys. Crazy things are possible, and if there's a stock that can 2-3x, and of course call options will way over 10x if that's the case. It's going to be AI. Okay. So AI is the talk of the street. Elon's at it again. He just announced his new AI company, XAI, with the goal to, these are his words, understand the true nature of the universe. I don't know what the heck that means, but I do know that it adds more fuel to the fire regarding the mounting AI hype wave. Okay. So again, you guys, as I said in the beginning, and also in the newsletter, what was this? July 12th. So a few days ago now. I did share this in the portfolio. I did also say here that let's hope we see more red so I can pick up some short-term calls, shark up some calls. And that's exactly what happened, you guys. So again, if you want to know when I'm buying the dips, when I'm selling the rips, which exact call options I'm buying, that's the first link in the description. Okay, last plug. AI continues to bleed into the cultural zeitgeist. It continues to be at the top of the minds of the most innovative entrepreneurs and investors in the world, in the tech landscape specifically. And again, there's still trillions of dollars of capital on the sidelines and in defensive assets that needs to be deployed, and AI is the clear beneficiary of this. Okay, so before we discuss short-term price action, let's talk about these short squeezes. Okay. So again, most shorted stocks, Carvana is at the very top here. Carvana's absolutely been ripping Novavax on there. We used to talk about that on the channel, but relevant to this video, buzzy artificial intelligence stock C3AI also made the list with about 38% of its shares sold short. 20% of shares sold short is considered very, very high. Okay? That is considered a very high short ratio. 38%, I'll make up for my little scuffs earlier, is about double that. Okay? So 38% of shares sold short is extremely, extremely high. And that makes me even more bullish on the short-term potential of the stock, even especially in the case that the markets continue to climb. And especially if any talk of an acquisition is announced, or, C3AI's earnings are coming up within the next month. If they do crush earnings or even impress slightly on earnings or their outlook more, primarily their outlook, because really when you guys are, if you're tuning into an earnings report, pay more attention to the forward guidance as opposed to the previous quarter's revenue, etc. Okay, just a little tip there. But if they see any positive fundamental catalyst, I do think that will initiate a short squeeze. And on top of that, the technicals are looking amazing. Okay, so as we zoom into AI here, if we're zoomed out, I should say, we're going to zoom in right after this. As we're zoomed out, you can see that C3 is in a megaphone channel. It's called a megaphone channel because it's shaped like a megaphone. Okay, megaphone channel, top line of resistance here. The purple line is the bottom line of support. And we have been bouncing through this megaphone channel a bit. Is it possible that we go down? Yes, but I think it's extremely unlikely. I think the far likelier scenario here is that we continue to climb and that we do end up testing a couple of lines of broken support. This red line here is what I'll call broken medium-term support that has not yet been retested as new resistance. TA 101. And personally, you guys said this in the newsletter as well, I would put my confidence in the fact that this will retest the line of broken support as new resistance. This red line especially at like 75-25, maybe even 80-20, which are odds that as a trader, I'll take any day of the week, okay? And trust me, my money is where my mouth is. Again, if you guys are part of Waves Cap, you would know that. I have been capitalizing, especially on Friday, down 6%. I smoked some calls. I ate up so many calls on Friday on that dip. And it's because I do have so much conviction in the fact, or the idea, I should say, not the fact, in the idea that we will retest this broken line of support as new resistance at some point, okay? If we test this on the same time, at the same time that we intersect with the overall line of resistance on this megaphone channel, again, the cyan line intersecting with this red line of support, which I assume will come into play as new resistance, that would lead to a $55 C3AI stock price on, what is that? August 3rd. Okay, so on August 3rd, that would lead to a 47% price increase within the next 17 days. Okay, at least at the time of recording this video. So, is that possible? It's C3AI. It's absolutely possible. But hey, maybe it takes a little longer. Maybe we go a little slower, and maybe we test this line of medium-term broken support around the same time we gum up to test the line of support that was just broken, which is short-term support, this green line. So, again, you guys, none of this is guaranteed. I want to make that very clear, and I'm sure you know that, but I just want to make that clear as day. This isn't guaranteed, but this is technical trading. I know it seems crazy that you can just draw some stick figure lines and they come to fruition, but trust me, I've been in this game for 10 years. I was very, very skeptical of this when I first got into the game, even for the first couple of years. But at this point, I've seen enough of these stick figure lines work. And at this point, I'm completely convinced that it is the smart move to trade these trend lines as opposed to not trading them, I guess. Okay, so hey, maybe these all come to an intersection. Maybe we trade around the $57 to $62 range by August 18th. That date is important because it is the expiration date of some very significant call options. That is the date of the expiration. I believe that's a triple witching. I'll correct myself in a future video if I'm wrong about that. But that is the date where many options contracts expire, many future indices expire, etc. So I do think that by the 18th of August, so just over a month from the release of this video, I do think C3 AI will be sitting well above $50. I do think it will be nearing $60. And hey, if we get this acquisition announcement, or even again any good news at all surrounding this company, I think that a break of $60 will be easy. Okay, so let's read this quote from the boys of the All In podcast, specifically Chamath. I recommend all of you guys watch this. It's their most recent episode. You can just YouTube it, All In podcast, but listen to the 3-minute to 20-minute segment of this. Okay, they discuss the macro backdrop, and it's just an amazing analysis. They throw in some great charts and just great analytics in there. So I do recommend, if you're a trader or an investor, that you watch this. But I do really want to close this out by reading over this quote from Chamath, which is about 5 minutes in regard to why he believes the markets will move materially higher. What matters more than interest rates are the trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines in defensive assets that need to pivot into growth assets once we know the worst is behind us. We just got some promising CPI data. The June CPI report was cold. That did great for the markets. The Fed meetings are coming up. Given the CPI data, I do think that they may still raise. They'll probably still raise, to be honest, a little bit. But I do think that their tone will be more positive, will be more what they call dovish or bullish when Jerome Powell takes the podium. And I do think that the worst is behind us. That means that capital will hop on the sidelines. And always remember, you guys, investor psychology is critical. The sentimental momentum has clearly fallen in favor of the bulls. And to close it out, I retain my hyper bullish sentiment around small to mid cap stocks and growth and risk assets over the remainder of 2023. So I'm excited to ride these waves with you guys. I'm excited to see what AI can do. And if I'm right about this, if I'm wrong, that's the game we play. It's okay. But I look forward to riding the waves with you guys. And again, if you do want to join Waves Cap, it's going to be the first link in the description box. If you guys are still here, I appreciate you. And I look forward once again to riding the waves with you and talking to you in the comments downstairs. So until next time, you guys, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.